Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kevin's Corner for our third show ever. I'm Kevin Horner, an attorney with Galligan and Manning here in Houston. And if you've watched the last couple ones, and we've had hundreds of viewers, which is great, so hopefully you have, this is just going to be a quick 5 to 6 minute thing that I'm just going to go and answer some questions about estate planning, elder law, estate administration. And if we don't have enough questions, I'll talk about something that's prepared. So if you have any questions, by all means, type in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer in this segment. And if not, I'll do it in a later one. I figure I'll jump right into what I want to talk about today because, as you may have noticed from our Facebook page, it is National Pet Appreciation Week. And so we here at Galligan and Manning have actually done quite a lot of estate planning with pets in mind. And so I don't get enough opportunities to talk about this and all the planning for those other kids, right, the fur babies. But I figured this is a great week to do that. And so I'm just going to talk about a couple of points. If you have if you have pets that you want to bring into your estate plan, some things you should think about for them. Okay, so I've just got 3 things to think about for that. First and foremost is you might want to think about in your power of attorney, your incapacity planning documents. Those documents by law and by design are to enable someone to make decisions and use your money for your benefit while you can't do it yourself. And that sounds perfectly reasonable, and it's obviously very recommended that you do that. What people don't always think about is, what about the pets they have under their care? Money spent for a pet is not necessarily in your best interest. And frankly, a pet in the eyes of the law is property, maybe a little bit special property, but it's property. So for an agent or someone like that to be using your money to care for the pet is at least theoretically a waste of assets. Unless you just simply have a power of attorney that would say expressly, I'm totally fine with my agent making reasonable expenditures for my pet while I'm not doing it myself. And just like that, just that simply, you make it so that your agent can take care of your pet while you can't do it yourself. And it could be as simple as a paragraph thrown into an existing power of attorney, and just a very simple way of addressing what could be a problem, especially for your agent, if not for your pet. So that's just one, a power of attorney that expressly enables it. 2, and I love saying this one because you don't get to do these often enough, but there is a concept in the law called a pet trust, where you literally set aside money to be used, usually after you've passed away, for the care of your pets. And I always like when these come in the news because they're not common ones. They are big ones. I did a little bit of Google research. The biggest one on record is an $80 million fund for some dogs. And apparently it was so unusual that no one even has verified if it actually happened. And so the next runner-up happens to be a $70 million fund. I saw on this list, I think it was 5 or 6, is Oprah has a $30 million fund for her 5 dogs. And I'd imagine most of you are thinking, I simply do not need that amount of money set aside for my pet of all things, and you're probably right, but that's not really the point. The point is that you might have a pet when you pass away, and someone needs to care for that pet. It's a way of making sure they're taken care of. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, but you could say, let's say it's a cat and you think they have another 10 years to live after you would pass away or something like that. You could just do a basic formula that says, I want to hold aside a certain amount of money per year based upon their life expectancy, and I nominate a person to hold that money and a person to actually take and care for the pet. And that money will be available to be used for that pet. If the pet doesn't survive me, if the pet only lives a certain amount of time and there's money left over, then you just designate where all the rest of the money goes to. And for a lot of people, that might be cats, dogs, instead of the typical household pets. And you might think, my family will take care of it, and maybe that's true. But it may not be true if they have a lot of needs, if they have medical needs of their own, so they're more expensive to take care of. You don't necessarily want to have your family burdened with that. And if it's a pet that's maybe a little bit more atypical, as either a longer life expectancy or more cost. I think the first pet trust I ever did was for horses, and horses cost a lot of money to maintain. And so we set aside a trust, a fairly substantial one, just to take care of these horses that were expected to live another 30 years and would cost quite a lot of money between now and then. And the other thing to think about it for some pets, if it's not one that has like a 15 or 20 year life expectancy, it could be something like a bird. A bird could have a 75-year life expectancy, for example, in which case you might have a bird that's going to outlive you for another 40 years. And then, again, you're leaving to someone who might love or care for the bird, but also bears that financial responsibility. So you can simply set aside money to make sure that pet is taken care of. And just like I said, it's nice because it fits into existing estate plans. It can fit in just like any other trust for another beneficiary. You can pick the people in charge of it. If you do it right, you can build in a lot of flexibility for it and make sure everything is taken care of, just like any other beneficiary. It's a nice thing to consider, especially if you want to make sure that your pet is taken care of. And then the third one, the first being the power of attorney enabling care for the pet. The second one, considering a pet trust that can fit in your estate plan. The third one is actually something that, as a courtesy to clients, we just offer here in our office, and I'll do my best to show that. Now, the first audio-visual presentation, right? We put these little stickers up. It says, in case of the emergency, the animal's inside, and you can put the sticker up in the window. In theory, you could do a magnet version of this and put it on your refrigerator, just so that if emergency personnel comes in, anyone who knows, if it's you living alone, you don't know where they would have to deal with finding the pets, the things for the pets, etc. You can just simply put that up, and it's a very basic piece of information that just draws attention to making sure that your pets get the care and the respect that you'd want them to. So for those who do have those fur babies, if you look on our Facebook page, I already mentioned that we're starting to post some of our pictures. Maudie from our office posted some of her pets recently. I think mine will go up very, very soon. By all means, if you want to share some pictures of your pets, you can just comment to those existing ones. Tell us about your fur babies. And hopefully this is just something for those who do have those pets that you just think about as part of your estate plan. I'm already into the 6.5 minutes. You probably learned by now I can talk quite a lot in a short amount of time. So if you do have any comments, questions, you can leave them in the video after this. You can send them into our office. You can always send them through galliganmanning.com. We'll make sure to get them there, and we'll try to answer them in subsequent talks. In the interim, if you have any other kinds of questions, you can again go to the website, go to Facebook, and you can find us through there. Thank you very much all for watching and listening, and I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday for Kevin's Corner at noon.